we are in a permanent state of emergency that is far more serious than this, far more serious, and that involves international cooperation. That's the threat of environmental catastrophe, which is coming. It's inexorable. The oceans are warming, the atmosphere is warming, Arctic ice caps are melting. It's not going to stop. There are things that can be done about it, but we don't have a lot of time. We probably have maybe 20 or 30 years, maybe, to try to get this under control. This is an emergency of a kind that makes every other one look marginal. Pandemics are horrible. Millions, maybe even tens of millions of people die needlessly. They can be controlled. You can see this from the countries that have managed to do it. That's horrible. It's not destruction of organized human life on Earth. And that's what we're facing. Unless we control the creeping environmental catastrophe, it means that we will reach a point where it is irreversible and organized human society disappears along with millions of other species that we're destroying. This is the kind of crisis that the Earth has not faced for 65 million years, since the famous fifth extinction. We're now in the midst of the sixth extinction, and we're going to extinguish ourselves unless we take this into hand. This is the greatest crisis that has arisen in human history. It has to be dealt with cooperatively. It knows no boundaries. If South Asia becomes uninhabitable, if the Middle East becomes uninhabitable, everyone is, not only is it a horrendous tragedy there, but it's going to be a global tragedy for all of us. The threat of nuclear weapons, of nuclear war, is greater than it's been maybe even during the Cold War. Tensions are growing everywhere. They could explode. New weapon systems are being developed that are extremely hazardous. The war is moving into space. All of these things have to be gotten under control quickly. Pandemic, in fact, is the least of the crises we face. Horrible one, but the least of it. Furthermore, other pandemics are coming. That's almost certain. And you have to be able to prepare for them right now. In 2003, after the SARS epidemic was contained, it was understood that there would very likely be new coronavirus epidemics, maybe pandemics coming. Measures had to be taken to prepare for them. Nowhere near enough was done. It's probably going to require serious institutional changes. A system of private pharmaceutical corporations is very unlikely to be able to deal with the kinds of international crises that are impending. So lots of things have to be rethought and redesigned. We have imminent crises that we know how to take care of and are not doing it. That's a very frightening situation. But going back to the Green New Deal, we have to consider questions of time scale. We have maybe 20 or 30 years to deal with the coming crisis of environmental catastrophe. The means for doing it are basically known. They are feasible. They will have to be done basically within the framework of existing institutions. The time scale for large-scale change of institutions is much longer. A global Green New Deal is not only possible, but essential for survival. You can debate the details, exactly how you do it, but the basic framework is pretty well understood. it's clear that we have to end the use of fossil fuels within a few decades, maybe by 2050. That's the IPCC recommendation. That means moving right away to start cutting them back, developing alternative sources of energy can be done efficiently, can lead to a better life, but it's not going to happen by itself. It's going to take lots of effort. There's major efforts by the existing fossil fuel industries, banks, others to try to prevent it in the interests of short-term profit.